2, 1, roll the footage. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Simon Severino, your host. What if you could hang out with sprinters and ask them about their problems, their workflows, and their solutions? This is exactly what we do every day. And today we explore with former semi-professional tennis player gone entrepreneur how to get from 0 to 1 million in 18 months and what strategies really help and which one to disregard. Welcome, everybody, Shawn Finder. We are excited. Shawn, what are you currently creating?
So AutoClose, which was the company you just mentioned, was actually acquired in October of 2020 by VanillaSoft. So currently, I'm working for VanillaSoft after the company got acquired, and starting to dabble at some new small little LinkedIn tools I'm trying to help some friends build.
Beautiful. And tell us about your work. What inspires you to do what you do?
So, originally we built a company that I was working for a company, and I saw that people were spending a lot of money on data, for top of the funnel prospecting. I'm like, the data quality was just so bad. I'm like, I have to come up with a solution to help provide high quality data. And that's how we came up with our first business. So ideally, the reason why I build businesses is seeing real world problems sales teams I've managed before had, and I build the business around them. So both businesses, ExchangeLeads and AutoClose, were built exactly on that. AutoClose is built on saving sales reps time and money by automating a lot of the tedious tasks that salespeople hate to do on a day-to-day basis.
Real world problems and real solutions. This is exactly what this community is all about. Perfect. And so you went in just 18 months from 0 to 1 million. Please unpack that slowly so that we can all learn here.
No problem. So we first thing I did was I built the company very lean. And what I kept doing was to get to the first almost 250,000, what we did was we had a big launch. But before the launch, we actually set up the launch 6 months prior to even launching our product. Now, don't get me wrong. Here's what we did. I just built the landing page, and what I did was I had followers, communities like yours, following our progress 6 months before we actually launched. So it was like building a condo. Every floor that we built, I would show them what we built. And what happened was, over the 6 months, our list became bigger and bigger and bigger. When we actually were ready to launch the product, we had over 3,000 people were like, wow, they almost felt like they built the product with us. And then on launch day, we had so many demos. There was two of us in the boardroom. We were working 18-hour days. I had to hire friends who had no clue about tech or SaaS to come start doing demos because we were overfull. That got us our first 250,000. And then, just kept ramping up and building features, not worrying about the users or the revenue. Continue to build the features that our customers wanted. That was the most important part of scaling from that 250,000 to that million.
Let's stay here because this is so important. So whatever people are launching soon, for example, I am launching my book in February.
Yeah.
So I could start right now asking some questions about the book cover, or how could I do it to create this journey with others?
Exactly like you said. You could say, I'm finishing up the book. Who would you like a sales quote from in the book? Who would be good? A, B, or C? Or what color? Here are two designs, I think, for my cover. Which one would you recommend? Do you think I should charge, $10.99 or $20.99? Go ask them all that stuff, because one thing I did for my business, which you can do for a book, is, and it was very interesting. I learned this from David Cancel, the CEO of Drift. And he said, never charge zero and give a 14-day free subscription. Make them pay $1 a month, $2 a month, whatever. So what I did was, with my business, I used to do demos in the first month, and I say, Jeff, how much would you pay for AutoClose? He'd be like, I'd pay you $10 a month. It's yours. How much would you pay? I don't have much money right now. I'd pay you $1. It's yours. So you have them invested. So even with a book, you say, I spent this long with the book. How much would you pay for your first 50 people that you're going to sell the book to? Be like, how much would you pay for a book that's going to help you with this, and provide value with this, and this? Well, I'll give you $10. It's yours. $20. It's yours. And then ask them to send a picture of them holding the book on LinkedIn or something, so you get something in return.
And so if people are launching, I don't know, a restaurant, you could start writing about recipes. What do you cook during the week? How much really do you put into cooking? And are there some quick recipes that are magical? So, right?
Another thing I would do for restaurants would be like, we're planning on doing specials Monday to Friday. Would you like chicken to be on Monday or Wednesday? Or do you feel like you had salmon Monday or Wednesday? Or, is Friday more of like a pub night where you want like chicken wings and French fries? You can do different things and find out what days of the week your prospects actually want those specials on. Because, McDonald's, Subway, all these fast food restaurants have specials, but it's like, on a Tuesday, are you feeling like, tuna, or are you feeling like turkey? And you could do the same thing for restaurants.
Oh, and that's a great example because it's specific. It's this, and would it be better Monday or Friday? So you help them answer it quicker.
Exactly.
That's strong. Okay, so you started the launch with a pre-launch, 6 months
Yeah.
in advance, co-creating it. We are building this in public.
Yeah.
And what came next?
So as I said, I built it very lean. I didn't go out and just hire tons of people and say, okay, each you're gonna have a quota, you're gonna grow it. We kept going month by month. At the end of the month, I'd look at our books, and we were profitable within 60 days. So after 60 days, I said, okay, we got this much in the bank, we're gonna hire this. We have this much in the bank, we're gonna hire this. But one of the strategies that really took us to the next level was hiring a CSM. Now, a CSM is a customer success manager. And the reason why this was very successful with us getting to the next level was we had a ton of people signing up for free trials, a ton of people signing up, but they didn't know how to use it, or they didn't understand one thing about it. Hiring those CSMs actually out of Eastern Europe really helped because they gave them that white glove approach. It made them feel like they were walking into a 5-star hotel, and I'm going to show you exactly how you use this, exactly how you're going to be successful. And that really helps. So what happened was we kept increasing our 14-day trials. We kept converting more, but we also kept churning less. So as we continued to grow, the churn went down, the conversion of 14-day trial went up, and that's in that sweet spot of 3 to 6 months that really started to scale the business. And then we started working with partners. We started working with communities. We wrote an ebook that was 673 years of sales experience in 52 pages. And what we did was we've had the top 30 sales experts in North America not North America, in the world, that came in, and they were part of our book. So why that was successful is when we finished the book, all 30 of them promoted our book because they were in it. So now we have 30 new communities that are all shipping stuff out about AutoClose, which really help with our growth.
Beautiful. So the next thing is build the referral teams and bake them into the product itself, into the journey itself. 30
Exactly.
communities that have this ripple effect and can amplify. We call these referral teams because we have a full sales mastermind that just helps people build referral teams. The physical referral teams. Beautiful. I'm so excited. This was just the first part, how you get from 0 to 1 million in 18 months. The second part was which strategies were not helpful at all and you did disregard, and which one were really helpful. But after one word from our sponsors.
Hey, if you like the tools, go grab them for free at strategysprints.com/tools.
When everybody zigs, this person is zagging, but from your perspective, they are doing the right thing. Who do you give the strategy award to?
I'm going to give it to my old co-founder and a good friend of mine who's starting his new business, Vedran Rasic. He's starting a new tool called Lead Delta. It's a LinkedIn CRM, basically. Really cool, very new, and he's new to the CEO world, but I think he's doing the right thing. He's making the right moves, and that's who I'm going to give my strategy award to.
Beautiful. 3 books or podcasts that inspire you.
Impossible to Inevitable by Aaron Ross was a good one. Lean Analytics by Cross and Yoskovitz. And one of my favorite negotiation books, everyone has to read it, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. It's
Chris.
an amazing book.
Beautiful. Impossible to inevitable, lean analytics. Let's sum it up for everybody here. And then Chris Voss, never split the
Never split the
difference.
difference.
Beautiful. And so pre-launch, referral partners, and that was enough to get to 1 million, or were there other elements on the way?
There was other elements. So we included a data subscription. So we combined both businesses. So we not only did the email automation, but the data. So we ended up having 2 product lines that were also splitting the revenue. So that really helped. Wish I would have done more product lines, because every new revenue driver product line, even though sometimes it might be just a little bit, it continues to add up. And we ended up adding a few more after year 1. But in year 1, it was all done by just building it lean, continue to invest in the company, invest in your people, but hiring the right people was probably the most important thing that got us there.
Hiring the right people. What did you learn about finding, because you have to find out quickly who are the right, and before you have experience. So how to find out who are the right people before you have experience with them?
That's a great question. I can always tell within the first 30 seconds of an interview if the person is coachable. And I only like to work with people that are coachable. And the other thing I look at, if it's in a sales, business development role, I look to see if somebody's played some sort of competitive sport. Have they played football, baseball, basketball, tennis, golf, anything? Male or female, I don't care what sport you've played. I love hiring people that have played a competitive sport because I know they're competitive. And in sales and business, you need to be competitive. So those are the 2 things I look for. But there's one thing and a quote that I live by, and this is it. If you're going to hire quick, make sure you fire quicker. Okay? So if somebody you find in the first 6 weeks is not the right fit, don't tell yourself, oh, well, they're going to get better. They're going to improve. No. Get rid of them. Find the right cultural fit. Find the right person for the position.
I love this. If you hire quick, then fire quicker. Beautiful. And so that was getting to 1 million. And then some strategies you did disregard and some were really helpful. Can you walk us through them?
So I'll go through some of the ones I didn't do and I wish I did. So when I disregarded, I didn't focus enough on SEO. We did no SEO. I started SEO very late in the game. That was a mistake of mine. Another mistake of mine was hoarding money. So we were cash flow positive. I wish I continued to invest as we continue to grow into our sales team. Now, some mistakes, that I made along the way. One, PPC did not work for us. Our PPC ads. I hired people without actually having an onboarding process to make sure they felt comfortable in the position. So those are some strategies that did not work, but content writing really worked. Cold calling, we didn't do too much of, but we used our tool a lot, and LinkedIn was a great tool. I wish I invested more into Sales Navigator and all the different LinkedIn stuff as well. And also, I would say another mistake we didn't do is build a community like you have. Communities are great. Building a trusted community where people can go get good value is something that we should have done earlier on. And lastly, should have started my podcast a lot earlier. We started a podcast just 4 months ago. I wish we started our podcast 2 years ago.
Beautiful. Well, the best moment in time is 100 years ago, and the second best is right now. So you are on it. And curious about the PPC, pay per click, if somebody's listening, because the amount of time needed. Some people say, okay, I give it 3 months and then I know. Other people even say, well, I know in the first month. And other people really don't know after 9 months. How much time did you give yourself to find out?
So our marketing team, we were doing a lot of retargeting and PPC for about 6 months. The biggest problem with us was, as most of you probably know, Outreach and SalesLoft were raising hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in funding, and we were a bootstrapped company. So for us to try and compete for keywords with the whales, it just was not going to work for us. So we had to find different ways and strategies to do it. So ideally for us, it did not work, but I will say I've spoken to a lot of CEO and founders that they grow only their business from PPC. So I think it all depends on what your business is. And maybe it's something that we didn't have the expertise in-house and weren't doing it properly, and we could have outsourced it early on to really get that expertise. But I think it depends on what your business is to see if it would work or if it won't.
If people resonate with this, where can they find you? Where do you hang out?
Well, I hang out on LinkedIn a lot. I'm always on LinkedIn. And now you'll see me in your community. So I'll be in your community to provide value, but LinkedIn, and if people want to email me any sales questions or any advice on acquisitions, or if you're about to get acquired and you have some questions about some words in your contract, etc., feel free to email me at Shawn, SHAWN, at autoclose.com, and that's autoclose with a K. And I'm more than happy to help, because personally, I received a ton of help throughout my 3 years building the company. And one thing I promised to do is give back to the community after I got acquired.
This is so cool. And it's cool to hear positive stories of entrepreneurs, because right now we are all having a tough time, and it's quite uncertain and it's quite dynamic, right? Everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's cool to hear this nice growth story. Thank you for sharing that. Looking forward, what excites you? If you look at your next 3 years, what excites you?
So for the next little bit, I'm still working in Vanilla Soft, the company that acquired us, and I'm one of those people that the CEO really took, he took a gamble on us, and I want to make sure that we provide him a good return on his investment. And if their plan is to get acquired, which it might be in the next 2-3 years, or raise money, I want to support them. And then after that, I think I have entrepreneurial in my blood, so I'm sure there'll be at least 1, 2, maybe 3 more businesses I start and sell. Haven't started anything yet, but that would be the plan, I think, in the next 3 years for sure.
And since you have found one thing that most of us struggle to find, and it's finding good salespeople and onboarding them the right way and getting them to perform quick. So maybe let's make one more round into that. Where do you search for salespeople? How do you find them? How do you onboard them?
Great question. And right now I would say is the toughest time to find a salesperson. We're looking to hire salespeople. We used to hire a lot in Eastern Europe. It was a lot easier. We got the best people, but it's so competitive now. Everyone is looking for sales. So what do? I always look for referrals. I reach out to my network. I reach out to communities. I ask my employees, my contractors. I ask everyone if you know anybody. I'd rather find someone through word of mouth than through a job posting. So that's kind of what we do. Is try and do it through people that have joined us, left us, or a community or a referral from somebody. Because there's always companies that are letting salespeople go, and if you have a connection there, and you can say, hey, who was the best salesperson that you guys just let go, and I can find that person is. From there, we like to hire those ones.
That's cool. I've never heard of that. Who is the best salesperson that you have let go? Wow. And then.
Yeah.
And what about the interview and the onboarding? How do you do it?
So the interview usually starts, funny enough, in about 45 minutes. I'm interviewing a salesperson. So we have an interview questions. It'll start off, interview will be with my HR person, who will make sure they're kind of the cultural fit. It'll then go through my director of sales, and then it goes to me. And then sometimes we do a last panel discussion with all of us just to get a feel. And then we all talk and say, you think it's the right cultural fit? And we also look to see where they want to go. One thing I think you have to do for salespeople is look at their personal growth. Ask them where they want to be in 3 to 5 years, and make sure you align your hiring and your path for them to get there. Because I will tell you this, if you hire somebody as an SDR, after a year, they're going to want something more. So you better be ready to give them something more, or they're going to leave you, and you're going to invest all this money to training them, and they're going to go across the road for $5,000 more than you're paying them. So make sure you show them their personal growth plan when you're doing it.
So you start with SDR, and then they can become a closer. What are the roles in your team?
Yeah. Start as an SDR with us. You go into more of a customer success for a bit, into an AE, and then from an AE you really start closing. So there's different steps you take, and not everyone makes to each step. But if you have the qualities and you're coachable at each step, that's the way it will go.
Beautiful. And if people say, I resonate with this, I want to work with this guy, who should call you? Who should not call you?
If you want to resonate with me, someone that's competitive, someone that we've built a good enough culture that's like a family culture. We're not only coworkers, we're all good friends. We all, we have a team in Eastern Europe that they all go to each other's weddings. I'll tell you, this is our culture. I hired a salesperson 3 months ago, and 24 hours later, without me even getting involved, I had my 3 salespeople with the one new one already having dinner together, talking and FaceTiming me without even me setting it up. Those are the kind of people I like, that are really going in, meeting new people, and enjoy that kind of family atmosphere.
I love that. Beautiful example. What a team spirit. And is there anything I forgot to ask you?
Well, the one thing I would say is most people always ask me is about my old tennis career. So if anyone doesn't know, in my, I guess now you could say about 15 years ago, I was a semi-professional tennis player, playing in the ATP tour. So I had a world ranking in tennis, played in the same tournaments as the Federers, the Roddicks, the Nadals years ago. And a lot of people ask me about that because they don't really see that. I guess I don't really look like an athlete as much as I did back then, but I was an athlete before I was an entrepreneur, so you can make that change.
And what is the main difference from athlete to entrepreneur for you?
Well, I would say, the one thing I've really taken was I always loved to win and hated to lose. So I've brought that same mentality into entrepreneur. I love to win deals and I hate to lose deals. And when I lose a deal, I have to figure out a way how I can win that deal back. So that's the one thing I think I've brought from my tennis career to that. But the other thing I would say is networking. When I was in tennis, I met so many cool people. I was talking to people twice my age. I was dealing with people and talking business at a very young age, almost from the age of 13. So that really helped me as I started to grow my first business, that I had all these people I could reach out to and be mentors and advisors for me along the way. And one of my biggest advisors is somebody I work for. He's probably now maybe in his 80s, but he taught me everything I knew about business at a very young age, in my early 20s. And I've taken all that information, and that's how I grew my first 2 businesses so quickly and successfully.
Who should be my next guest?
I'm going to say you should bring on Amir Ryder. He's a good friend of mine. He has an outsourced company out of Colombia and Miami. They do SDR, account exec, support for all SaaS companies. He's a great guy. I think he'll be a great guest, and he's become a great friend.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Shawn Finder, everybody. And thank you for sharing your journey, your wisdom with us. And please come back soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.